Hey, good morning everybody, Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing fantastic for another day, another insight in what is happening with this trial that we have been talking about for more than 2 months now, give or take. So, here we are. It seems a paper is being filed. I'm not 100% sure if this constitutes the actual appeal. But as you can see here, attorneys ask court to set aside defamation verdict altogether. In a wide-ranging court memorandum, attorneys for the Chaps Brooks argue that evidence doesn't support the $10 million verdict awarded to her ex-husband Johnny Depp. They don't want to splash the money on the table. They don't want pay a single dime, catch his hold, give the money. So, Fairfax, Virginia, attorney for A.H. Friday asked a Fairfax County Fairfax County Circuit Court judge to toss a jury verdict that the actress defamed her ex-husband Johnny Depp. In a 43-page memorandum, which we have right there, H legal's team argued that the award, more than $10 million, was unsupported by evidence. Remember this. This is what the lawyers are still saying. Unsupported by evidence. They took issue with Depp's contention that he lost his role in Pirates of the Caribbean because of the statement made by H in the op-ed. That's exactly what happened, if you ask me, and also the jury. The attorney asked the court to set aside the verdict in favor of Depp in its entirety, dismiss the complaint, or order a new trial. Literally, those are the people that said, we wanna move on with our life. I wanna move on with my life. Motherhood is the new call, awaiting for me next day. How I love to be a mother. How I love to be a mother. Let's sing all together. Be a mother with me. Something like that. But instead, they want a new trial, because that's what you do when you are not vindictive. You choose another fight. So, well, I have two things here. I got the memorandum right here. As you can see, this seems like an official paper, and it was presented July 1st. There is even the time, 2:43 Virginia time. So here you got all the documentation. Of course, the lawyers, Benjamin Rottenborn, still there. So this is the table of content, which I find appealing because I was reading one of this part here. The jury compensatory and punitive damages award were excessive as a matter of law. What? Then at the same time they say, in D, Mr. Depp is not entitled to damages for alternative causes, including the Sun publication, the ensuing litigation brought by Ms. Depp to the UK trial, and surrounding publicity and the UK judgment. So it's like he's not entitled to money, but also he's not entitled to money surrounded those other circumstances, you know, like trying to limit actually the amount of money which is awarded, basically. So by default, kind of implying that he actually does deserve, on some instances of this whole thing, some money. So this maybe we can do it in live, or we can go over the whole thing. You know, those are the lawyer. Like, Mr. Depp did not present evidence of actual malice. Ms. Depp did not present sufficient evidence to support the finding of defamation by innuendo. That's in a song of the Queen. It's actually probably a song from the Queens also. No evidence surrounding the op-ed publication would reasonably cause a reader to believe the title of the online edition is about Mr. Depp. Oh my freaking God, she literally admitted under oath that was about him. I mean, We are still going after straw years. It's quite insane. But of course, you know, I mean, I don't know what you can find in here apart from more gaslighting in terms of trying to rewrite literally the verdict over technicalities or whatnot. So obviously that's what they have to do. But yeah, I just found a video of this gentleman right here. Let's see if we can watch it. Mr. JD, a lawyer explains, which has 571 subscribers. I hope he doesn't mind. JD, I hope you don't mind sharing like 1 minute or so of your clip where he explains, you know, what the appeal would look like. And of course, click that subscribe button because, you know, he's being helpful to us, to the video. Let's see.
When a party appeals, what they are saying to the appellate court is that the judge made an error. That's because they can't come in and say the jury made an error. They have to come in and say the judge made an error, and these are the errors that the judge made. Now, there tend to be two kinds of review at appellate courts. The first is called de novo review. And de novo review is where the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court looks at the question of law. In other words, what is the law that applies here? How should it be applied? That is a legal conclusion, and the court's legal conclusions are always subject to de novo review. The other level of review is
De novo. De novo, I don't know if it's Latin. It sounds like Latin to me. Might be wrong. Which means like de nuovo. Sort of like you go through them again.
Called abuse of discretion. Abuse of discretion is a much, much higher threshold for appellate relief. To get relief from a court abusing its discretion, you have to show that you were prejudiced by it such that the result of the trial might have been different otherwise. Now, just how deferential is the abuse of discretion standard on appellate review? Well, in Missouri, where I'm licensed, the standard for abuse of discretion is if reasonable minds could differ about the propriety of the trial court's action, then there is no abuse of discretion. So in other words, if it's even a reasonably close call as to whether a piece of evidence is relevant or irrelevant, the trial judge gets the last word. It is only in that situation where the murder weapon is a huge bloody butcher knife and the decedent died from a wound from a butcher knife, and the trial court says, no, I'm excluding that on the basis of relevance. Now there you go. That is quite possibly an abuse of discretion right there.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right here because of course I don't want to show the whole video. He explained a few points which are pretty interesting to me. So it appears to me that they cannot go after the jury, so they basically have to go after Judge Ascarate and see if there is any legal loop or legality that she might made a mistake in the proceeding of the trial. So again, thank you so much, JD, a lawyer explain. Go check him out. You know, subscribe. Perhaps he has other videos. He will make other videos maybe which will be helpful to understand, especially about the legality. So thank you so much for this. And so here you have it. I was reading, in fact, also that they were actually going after the jury. That's why this is interesting, because the H lawyers also asked the court to investigate whether one juror improperly served on the jury. One court, the juror list birthday was 1945, but the juror identified in the filing as juror 15 was clearly born in later than 1945. Publicly available information demonstrated that he appears to have been born in 1970. This discrepancy raises the question whether Juror 15 actually received a summons for jury duty and was properly vetted by the court to serve on the jury. The court clerk's office has a statutory obligation to verify the identity of the juror, but in this case, it appears his identity could not have been verified. To be sure, Azcarate, who presided over the trial, signed an order June 24 making the jury verdict official. And during the hearing, she made it clear that she was not inclined to schedule further hearings. That previously brought a libel case about this. We're not interested anymore. So this is interesting and probably very good that the judge, made the verdict official of the jury. And like the other lawyer said, I suppose, I'm not an expert, so now they cannot go after the jury. The only thing they can do is, going after some legality, because as you can see here, attorney for asked the Fairfax County Circuit Court judge, which is probably like the nomenclature or like the proceeding of how an appeal has to be carried out. So this other circuit court judge basically should be going through this stuff. I'm not 100% sure whether or not this is something that can resolve quickly. I've seen other videos mentioning that appeals can take quite some time, onwards of 2 years. And of course, as you know, she has to pay 6% on the money she has to pay. So there will be quite some, because of course, Johnny also has to pay her 2 million, but the 6%, it's not on 8,350,000 because you subtract the 2. I think the 6% is still on 10,350,000. So that's like more than a million, in a couple of years. And just for a chance, so I don't know, I have the feeling that, to me, Judge Azcarate did everything pretty well. So I would find it very surprising that there would be any mistake. And again, those are the type of things, for instance, that you might find a legal loop of the proceeding on which you can leverage or something, some hole. And those are more like technicalities. It's like really nothing to do whether or not we still believe that she's, she was telling the truth or not, because most likely nobody still believes her. Most people, sane, at least. I know there's still a lot of talk. Well, not a lot of talk, but everybody. I saw another article on the Insider talking about, still talking about misogyny. I mean, it's so just tiring to hear all those biased journalists with, obviously they have a very heavy leaning extreme left or extreme activist leaning towards gender, and they have to use this. They have to use this woman in this case to give voice to their narrative of accusing the entire world of being misogynistic, So it becomes, again, also her a scapegoat to keep writing those articles, which in fact the majority of the people truly don't give a damn that she's a woman, People just don't like her. The majority of humanity, men, the majority of men love women, respect women, and also the majority of women love men and respect men, and you can love each other, same sex, whatever, let's not get there, but you can do all of those things, of course. So people just don't like her because of the lies and all that it's surfacing. It's not a bigger thing for the majority of people. At least it's not. It's really not. So, but anyway, the media does what they do, and you just have to, just forget about it. So, guys, it'll be interesting to see this, what it transforms to. There is no more thing available right now. So, in fact, there's just a rehashing of a lot of the details that we already know from the trial. So, it's just a matter of fact of finding some, after you read this whole paper, probably we're gonna have some expert explaining maybe the time frame, whether or not this could take 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, if there is any basis to win the appeal. So that would be interesting to see. I have the feeling that this is just procedural stuff. Sorry, I'm scrolling really fast. I just wanted to go to the end of it because I want to see if there is a statement from JD's lawyer. So yes, let's go to the conclusion here. For all the reasons set forth above and for the reasons set forth on the record during the hearing and at the trial, in the motion and limine on motion to strike, Mr. respectfully request this court to set aside the jury verdict in favor of Mr. Depp and against Ms. H in this entirety, dismiss the complaint, or in the alternative order a new trial. Ms. Heard further requests this court to investigate potential improper juror service and take appropriate action warranted by results of the investigation. So again, this is the conclusion that we already read. And I suppose that this is the official part, sort of the appeal of the conclusion. So, well, I'm honestly, I really look forward to a nice resounding no. And give me the money. Not me, but to JD. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts on this. I'll keep you updated. Why am I in that part? I'll keep you updated as much as I can. And please subscribe. Go subscribe also to the gentleman, which, by the way, I don't know. I just think it's nice that he helped us out with some info. So whoever is interested in legality stuff, it's nice to give him a hand. Maybe we get him to 1,000 subscribers. That would be nice. Anyway, guys, see you later. Take care of yourself. Ciao.